Hey guys, it's Wednesday. I totally forgot it was Wednesday, and my son reminded me. He was like, "Dad, are you streaming tonight?" And I had to think. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. I should be streaming tonight. So you have my son to thank for the travesty that I'm going to pretend is art that is going to happen tonight. Yeah, I think I got my Wacom tablet again. Let's try that again. I think I have my Wacom tablet working. Let's find out. I had to restart. One thing I'm not super happy with, and this was exacerbated by the slight angle that the book was at when I took the photo, is his arm. So this is 8 or 10-year-old Beaumark. I think 8. And it's also the first illustration in the book, which is unfortunate because it's certainly not my favorite. But you know, at some point you gotta stick a fork in it and say, "Hey, it's forked." It's just gonna have to do. I think I've got a potentially easy fix for the overly muscular arm. Let's see if this works as well as I think it will. I'm gonna make a selection. Goes down like so. I'm gonna soften that selection by going into Quick Select, doing a filter blur. Doesn't need to be that much. Probably like. That's probably good. Hey, tell me if you can hear music at all, and if so, is it too loud? Alright. And I hope I'm actually... Last time my stream died for reasons that I could not perceive at all. And right now I'm seeing 0 viewers, so I don't know if things are actually working or not. Oh no, I got three watching. Okay, never mind. So something is working. Something is kind of working. Hey, thanks for watching, you 3. Okay. Renee, it's perfect, you say. Perfect. I don't think I've ever made anything perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to transform it. Control T, and then just go and skinify it. And for some reason it left a little bit of a ghosting. Why would that be? Okay, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go in my history. I'm going to undo that stuff. And instead of that, I'm going to copy and paste. So now I have it on a separate layer. Got this side of his arm here on a separate layer. And I'm going to transform that. Let's see if that makes a little better. I think that will solve my problem. Oh, music is not too loud. Okay, thanks. The picture, though, is an abomination. It is against all that is good art. I assume that's what you mean. I really, I have to copy my settings from work to my home computer at some point, because this is stupid. I'm wasting everyone's time by fumbling with the controls half the time during streams. So here's a little artifact that is a result of squashing that. You can see this little line here. I think I can fix that fairly easy just by smooshing it over. Use the smudge tool. I'm going to turn the strength up quite a bit. And that did not have a soft fall off like I expected. Oh, because it went to round pressure. Okay, let's try that again. So this is gonna blur it a little bit. Yeah, that's fixing one problem by creating another. That's pretty close. Okay. Now I think this piece will not require any layer separation, which is nice. I don't have to mask him off. I think the background works just fine. Drop that, flatten the image. Damon, hello. Glad you can make it. A little more contrast. I would love to be able to bring out the little bit of glitter that he has. He's got like his people are genetically modified for tropical, like for a lot of sun, a lot of direct sunlight. So they have little reflector skin cells subdermally, just barely under the surface. So they kind of have a glittery appearance, not vampire glittery, but something that gives them just a slight metallic look to them. And so I would like to be able to capture that in this first image. Although I don't know, I mean, you know, with my limited skills or whatever, and the nature just being black and white, it could just end up as looking like he's got goose pimples or goose flesh or goose bumps, depending on what region you're from. Let me get a little closer before I do this adjustment. You can see how I did this little patchy white flecks. So he's kind of a bronzy, coppery skin tone, but with these flecks in him. If I turn the brightness down, that helps to get his skin tone close to where I want it. Turn the contrast up. Oh yeah, I mentioned this last time actually. If you do the use legacy, that tends to give you a little more metallic look. And since I'm trying to get his skin to look vaguely metallic, I think that's a... Photoshop still has it so you can't move your navigator around while you're adjusting brightness and contrast. I don't know why that is. But I think that looks pretty cool. I think you can see the flecks pretty well. And he looks dark-skinned enough. I feel like this part... So, when I was trying to figure out a way to get flat lighting, when I was photographing the sketchbook, I didn't quite accomplish that. So I think this side of the page just got more light than this side. So, one way to fix that is I can do... Let's just do a mask here. I'm going to use the gradient tool. Go from black to white. Kind of drag it. The way the light was really hitting the sketchbook. Give this maybe a little more. It's a little too much. There we go. So if I turn this brightness down a little bit, it should even it out a bit. Now his head looks really dark compared to his shoulder and pec. undo that and try more like this. Yeah, getting it darker on the bottom gives it kind of a nice vignette. Is that the right word for that? Vignetting? Is that... Or am I getting that mixed up with something else? Because a vignette can also mean like a small, like a story that takes place in a small area, or like a... Someone look that up for me. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Vignette is the word I'm thinking of. So I'm unhappy with how dark the side of his face is. It matches how dark the arm and this side of the torso is, and the shadow on the neck, but I can't tell if it makes sense or not. You guys, it's hard not being an awesome artist because you're trying to make awesome art and you're constantly frustrated. You don't know what it's like, you guys. Trying to see if there's any little touch-ups I want to make. I mean, let me see what happens if I add some more highlights to give his face a little more dimension. Maybe that will justify the dark on that face. So one trick I like to do when I'm messing around is I just make a new layer of it, and then I go crazy overboard with what I'm doing just to get the idea across. Like, here's where highlights would fall. By the way, I have this set so it's only brightening up highlights. It's only getting the highlights that are already there. Oops. I don't want to hit the bottom of the eyelid that hard. Alright, so got it like too exaggerated, and then I simply turn the opacity down to where I think it's a nice middle ground. Before, after. Yeah, I think that does help. So I'm gonna pump it back up to 100, and then just carry that on down to some of the body. I mean, it's good to have the head be the focus, but I don't want it to look like the head is just like made out of a different material than the rest of the body, you know? That would be bad. Oh, I just realized I have some area under that ear there on the background brightened up. I can be happy with this. Well, Alright, well, maybe I'm back. I don't know. This is so weird that I have this problem on my desktop that is hooked directly to the interwebs, and it doesn't happen on my laptop in the garage. I think OBS is crashing on me, and I don't know why. Yes, Rini, I am back. Let's see how long I stay back. Where was I? Just prattling on about, okay. I think, so this, while I'm not doing backgrounds for any of these, for most of my illustrations, I still want to evoke at least the general mood of the place, and he is on a bright sunny beach during this scene. He's looking down at a dead scary thing, hence the flies and the concerned expression, and this kind of 50% gray is not giving me the feel of a beach. So I'm gonna mask him out. Oh, actually, I'll bet this will work. Yes. There we go. Filter, blur. Just a bit of a blur because that's not a perfect selection process. In fact, let me go get some of these areas by hand real quick. Baby got back. That's right, Damon. You know, the president of ArenaNet sings that song, or he did, for karaoke. It used to be a tradition. He did it almost every holiday party. And it was hilarious, surreal, and weird. If you see pictures of him, he is not the kind of person you would expect to sing that kind of song. I'm going to go ahead and kind of give it a ramp. Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, Mike O'Brien. He probably stopped doing it in recent years because the company got to the size where surely some people would be super offended by the lyrics to that song, and having the company, you know, CEO singing something that makes you feel uncomfortable is probably bad for everyone. One of those culture changes that inevitably happen when a company gets bigger and bigger. You've been to my building, Damon? You've been all up in my building? What were you doing there? Were you up for PAX or something? Or were you just sneaking around? There was a break-in last year, so I imagine that may have been you. Yeah, that feels more like he's on a bright sunny beach to me. So, I'm happy with this now. Gonna give it a frame. Oh wait, did I control all? Did. didn't. Okay. Stroke. This piece is pretty big, so I'm going to go with 12 pixels. Oh, stop it. Microsoft. Please stop, Microsoft. You have pictures of you in the lobby. Yeah, but what were you doing there? Besides stealing things. Brimstar says, what's this piece about? Love the expression on his face. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. I'm unsatisfied with it, but you know, in my mind I have this perfect vision of what he would look like, and in the future at some point I'll be directing a television series with CG people, you know, that look totally photorealistic. You won't tell they're CG people, but they'll be CG actors, and I will speak to the animators and the puppeters and the actors and be like, this is exactly the look I want, and it's not this, but it's like unsettled, concern, close to throwing up. So what's happening is he's looking down at a corpse on the ground of a creature that looks like a deformed human, and he's never seen non-humans before. Slight spoiler alert, it actually is a human. It's just a more heavily genetically modified human than he is. But it's you know, it's a dead teenage weird looking person on a beach in his home, and their home is super protected because they're worried about invasion, and so it's very worrisome for everyone. And this is the first illustration you're going to see in the book. The first one I had was actually a picture of the corpse, and I didn't want to set that tone or expectation that this is, you know, all kind of gory and gross like that. There are plenty of things that are gory and gross, but that's not what the book is about. It's not its primary aesthetic, so I didn't want to set that expectation. So I decided, you know what? I should just establish what our protagonist looks like as a kid in the very first chapter. Okay, I'm going to select color range, dark color, okay. Hide this, delete. Now I got a nice grungy frame that goes with all the rest of the art that I'm putting in there. Damon says, used to live in Washington, went back to visit my family, had time to kill before my flight home, so I went up to Bellevue, Google mapped the building, navigated your weird garage, then hitchhiked on the elevator up to your floor. Receptionist wouldn't let me do much else, but they gave me a Heart of Thorns t-shirt and one of the gray t-shirts. I plan to try to sneak back someday since I still owe you a Lego Lord Vanquish. Oh my god, that would be amazing. I would love a Lego Lord Vanquish. Brimstar, yes, still working at ArenaNet, having a great time. Flatten image, okay. Save as Scarred King. This is gonna be Mark Disturbed. I'm sure after I've illustrated a couple books, I will come up with a better naming convention. Actually, what I need to be doing is noting the page that the illustration needs to go on. That'll help me inserting them a lot better, but yeah, this will do for now. Alright, who's up next? Let's do this jungle scene. I like this piece, but I have problems with it, and I want to try to fix these problems. Whoops, that's not going to do the trick.
The tension is high to touch your face. In the events I fall from grace.
start by cropping most of it. Now this kind of looks like a mess right now. See, if we look at it at full scale, you can kind of see what's going on a little bit. It's like a tree, and here's Beaumark as I want to say he's probably 12 or 13 at this point in his life, and he's undergoing this ceremony where all the boys of the village go and do this race through the jungle where they have to retrieve this knife, and his evil nemesis is sending a cowardly kid out to cut the vine that he's using to kind of like hop over this spiky branch to get to the knife. So the thing when I look at this in general, well, actually, you know what? Let me adjust brightness and contrast just for readability real quick. It's supposed to be a pretty dark jungle that, you know, perforated with dappled sunlight coming through. It's getting close to what I want. Okay, so this leaf right here is just ridiculous. How did I draw it like that? Why? Why did I draw it like that? I can't even fathom. Like, this one's going out here, and then this one suddenly is like, meh. Trying to think of a good way to obfuscate or fix that. I mean, I could go in and try to select the whole thing and rotate it, but then I'd have to fill in, you know, behind what was rotated. Another thing I could do, and in fact, I'm just going to try this real quick and see what happens. I'm just going to select some of this canopy up here. Copy that. What happens if I just move this down here? Kind of map over that. Then I'm left with some weirdness up here, but I could probably map over that as well. And it says take the corner of tree leaves and make a new branch covering that frond. Brilliant, Damon. You say great minds think alike. Grimstar says, that's a good idea. Try to fill it with leaves above me. Yeah. Get a little grungier erase brush. So Damon, when you were here, I assume you asked if you could see me, because that's happened several times. Just various people. Whoa, what happened? Various random fans will stop by, and the receptionist can usually track me down, and I come and say hi and give hugs. That's always fun. Assuming you're into Josh hugs. Okay. Oh, look at this leaf. This leaf is almost the perfect shape. Okay, now I can just like grab this layer. See, that's what it looks like. But with all the noise and stuff, it's different enough that you're not going to notice that. This is actually very similar to how I build levels in Guild Wars. You know, I'll have the same tree or bush and I'm just moving and rotating and scaling it to get it to look different.
Making me know its size.
I don't like this particular leaf simply because it's too recognizable as being the same leaf as right here. So eat away at it a bit.
The feeble traps of reserve. This reflection's light so pale.
Rin, hey Rin, says, yo cool, was checking out for music and saw you were streaming. Oh lurk. Nice work, dude. Thank y'all. Thank you very much. Rin. This area down here is too bright. Again, I'm sure that's because of the lighting of the sketchbook. I'm gonna need to figure that out or go back to scanning with my scanner because this is annoying. Do this trick.
Quick of the quick trip, the path my eyes have seen. Vanity on vanity, at least this
Hitting too much of the bottom right with this. So I'll just go back into quick select or quick mask mode. Paint out the area I don't want to be affecting. Damon says, was a couple of years ago. They were pretty firm on me being persona non grata. I kept getting the feeling that it was just a bad day. Hugs are always good. Come from a long line of huggers. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going on during that day, right? Like, sometimes there's, you know, security issues for a variety of reasons. It turns out when you're a big company, there's lots of people who want to do bad things to your big company. Shocking, I know. When we first started, I mean, I was employee number 30 something, and the founders, back when all three of them worked there, they had really bad experiences from Blizzard where there were fans camping out in their parking lot and tracking employees when they came and went to try to guess when, you know, the next whatever was going to come out. And I think that just totally creeped them out. So they were always very security conscious, let's say. I think that's gotten back to reasonable levels now. Like, we used to not have a public address accessible at all. It was almost like we were working in, you know, a secret government agency or something. But yeah, nowadays things are pretty good. It helps that we have a desk that's like separated, like the front desk is separated from the rest of the work area, so people can't just like wander into the office and go anywhere they want. Anyway, I'm sorry you did not have a great positive experience when you visited, Damon. It definitely does help to call ahead, though. Okay, this definitely feels better now. Like, this whole area down here is kind of a... it should not be a focus, Your attention should not be down there. It should be up here on this little boy swinging on a vine, trying to get this little knife. But yeah, I mean, in general, everything is so noisy that it's probably going to take reading the chapter to be able to interpret it. And I'm okay with that. I actually think that's pretty fun. I would call it a feature, not a bug. It's also incredibly convenient if you want to make lazy, sloppy art. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do that here and now. Some of these guys are inconsistently shaded, so I'm just going in with my burn tool, shading them up properly. Dayman wasn't planned, so I wasn't expecting much. Didn't sour me or anything. I got good photos of the logo and some of the art on the walls. Even if I do weight like 100 less pounds now. You both weigh and weight 100 pounds less. That's cool. I'm bumping up the contrast on the little figures here so they'll stand out better in the sunbeams. Means I can also go in and pop the highlights on them. Oh, I forgot to do my little trick. Let me go back to history. Do those. Create a new layer. Okay, now on this layer. Go crazy with the highlights. Congrats on all the weight loss, by the way. That's awesome. Literally 100 pounds? Speaking of weight, hi Fat Cat, how you doing? I'm trying to make pretty pictures for my book that is coming out sometime this year. I swear. Just ignore all the times I said it was coming out this year last year, okay? I'd appreciate that. I mean, it probably could have, but then my co-author became convinced that you have to have the whole trilogy pretty much ready before you launch the first one. For indie publishers who don't have a name for themselves yet, apparently that's very important. And you know what? She did most of the work with the writing and a ton of work researching and learning how to do the publishing aspect of it, so I am going to follow her lead. Might as well hit a few of the ridges of these roots, give them a little more clear dimensional look to them. Whoa, that's too much. Dayman says, it's a long story, but I used to be normal and had a condition go way too long undiagnosed, fixed last January, weight falling off, and headed back to normal. Oh, okay. Medical condition caused weight gain. That's got to be frustrating. Fat Cat, you are waiting. Awesome. As long as we got a few people waiting, and hopefully pre-ordering and leaving, and not leaving reviews until after it actually comes out, and reading it, and then liking it, and then leaving reviews on Amazon, then we might get some traction and get somewhere, and hopefully be able to release the other 10 books in the series. And that is how I start my meteoric rise to becoming the next Star Wars franchise. You guys can say you were here from the very beginning. When it's ready. Yep, exactly. We are an official when it's ready company. Let's see if all these little highlights are buying me what I hope they are. I mean, I think it's more clear that there's actually figures doing something. You can't tell what they're doing, but that's okay. Because this is on another layer, I can do this fun trick where I just erase this layer away in little stripes, and I've got the highlights just on the ridges of the bark. It's always good to break up highlights unless you're making like a dolphin. Okay, the other thing I really want to do here is pop up a few of these God rays, sunlight shafts. I don't want to do them all equally because nature is usually messy and spotty and not consistent. Oh, did I just undid? I got the whole ship. Sorry, I can handle this. Brimstar is saying, how's life, man? How are you lately? Oh, pretty good. I mean, I've got so many fun things going on. The biggest thing on my mind right now, stupidly, is thinking about a new workout routine. Because I really want to cut fat. Not eating fat. I want to eat lots of fat. I want to cut the fat on my body. And I'm thinking of taking up swimming as a means of doing that because I hate cardio so much. I feel like I'm dying whenever I do it. And one of the reasons is because I feel like I'm running out of air. But another reason is because I feel like I'm overheating. And so I figure swimming will fix that problem. What is happening here? So I'm thinking about joining a friend who does swimming for that and all the logistics that go into that. And it's annoying thinking about logistics. So I have this selection. If I go into quick select, oh, I am in quick select mode. That's my problem. Okay. There we go. Hi, Letha. Letha is one of the lucky ones who actually enjoys jogging. Cardio isn't good unless you feel like you're dying. Well, in that case, all the cardio I do is always good. So now I want to cut out where I don't want the light to be really bright. I don't want it. Look, don't do that. Star says, I feel you. I've been starting this chicken breast broccoli diet and it paints a picture of the fun to come. I feel like I'm in Groundhog's Day sometime. Yeah, getting diet under control is definitely the biggest part of becoming healthy. That's for sure. I had to learn to make my own food. That was the trick for me. When I made my food for, you know, the next couple days and just had it sitting there, that was what it took my brain to say, all right, well, you have to eat it. You made it. Otherwise, you're wasting money and time. I do. What I found worked really well for me was high protein and fat and low carbs. So any carbs or sugar pretty much makes my love handles expand. But I could eat tons of fat, it's fine. I mean, you know, you want to avoid saturated fat, like unnatural things, but those are usually paired with really sugary treats, so it's generally not a problem. Getting impatient with this. Do not want this part where the sunbeam is like bending. That's not usually what sunbeams do. Let's see, I probably want to block out bow mark as well. I want to make sure there's contrast in there. Throw some blur on it. Probably a little more than I want. Yeah, that feels right. One thing that's still not feeling right is this little corner up here. There's like this big blob of black and then non-black up there. I think I'll go ahead and use a scattered leaf brush to add darkness in a more mottled leafy way around the corners. Okay. Selecting all, add a layer, stroke. Oops, one color. I have to tilt this because it's a tiled texture, and if it's straight, then you'll end up with the same repeated texture of grunge there. Coloring. Jungle Race. Grimstar, yes, I'm using a tablet. I'm using a Intos 4 tablet. Okay, what do we got going on? I think we have enough time for one more. Maybe I should beat these guys. Yeah, let's do some characters. Very mild spoilers for the book, in case you want to be absolutely pristine going in, but I don't think any of you care about that. So this guy is what is colloquially known in Talifar as the Sea Folk, and this is a human. These were probably the most radically altered to be, you know, aquatic people. So you got their nostrils moved up so that they can breathe with just a tiny little slit above the water. And they're kind of the main traders and what is that called? Importer, exporter, whatever that's called. Looks almost like a catfish alien. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, go in, add some What am I adding? Highlights. Primary lights coming from over here. Sometimes I can get away with just doing the does it work now? I'm just watching a spinning wheel to see if it's working. Oh, I'm just gonna keep going, and if you guys can see me, awesome. Congratulations. Star says you can see me. Excellent. Alrighty. Let's put the opacity here. Kind of like getting that forehead ridge in there, but I think I like the dynamic highlight a little better. Yeah, I'll go. You know what, I'm just gonna set this guy to the side and I'll do all the frames after the stream because there's nothing really entertaining about watching that procedure. Okay, next up, Beaumark's Nemesis, if you can't tell by the extremely biased expression that I gave him. This guy's a jerky jerk. He's kind of like... Oh, did I go away and come back? Oh my gosh. What are you doing, OBS? What you do? Yes, technology is dumb. Can someone fix technology, please? Tired of it being dumb. And now I can't. Oh. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying this guy's like the blonde-haired kid in Harry Potter, the jerk. But if that kid was capable of killing Harry Potter's family. So generally in graphic